super excited right now. But anywho, please, if it's your first time to pass through this channel, I'm asking you to subscribe and make sure that you ring the bell, because every time I come live, you'll be the first person to be notified. And to my regulars, and I say shout out. By the way, there are people that are so special. You know, Jaden, where are you? Shout out to you. I know you're special. And the amazing people here that I always be, you know, just run this whole thing with me. And when I say, yo, come through, let's have some chores. That is Mr. Mnangagwa's chores. All right, and then we're looking at another story. Okay, Fidelis Mukonori, the father, literally, that has been standing with Edie. He stood with Edie since the coup. I don't know if they stood with Edie since 1980, because he's always been there, you know. But he surfaced again this time and asking Chamisa to concede so they can have a talk with Edie. But we're going to look at that story again. We're also looking at the story of Zoleka Mandela. She's in heaven. May her soul rest in eternal peace. I'm going to touch a bit on that, on the drug addiction, as well as alcoholism. And then we're looking at, by the way, Java tried it. Java, you tried it. How dare you sing that pray for Nelson Chamisa's death? If you fight Nelson Chamisa, you're fighting Zimbabweans, you're fighting me. You try Nelson Chamisa, I'm coming in for a fight, yo. So we're going to be looking at that story as well tonight. Come everybody. I'm asking you guys to make sure that you like the live as we move along. We're going to have a party right now. Stick around as we're having some talk. And really, I'm so glad to also hear your thoughts on some of the stories that I dropped tonight. Very interesting, though. Interesting. And trust me, because I'm such a faithful servant, right? We're going to take a look at the trending stories right now. Who's trending? What's going on Twitter right now? So let's look at our Twitter trends. Very important where everyone is coming. Let's look at our Twitter trends. So Harare is trending. I bet you guys are trying to know, why is Harare trending? Very important for us to know, why is Harare trending right now? And also looking at our next trend is Chamisa. Definitely, you know, he's a man of the moment, so definitely he should be trending. Let's take a look at Nelson Chamisa's voice trending. They said heads off for Chamisa. If it wasn't him, Zimbabwe was already a one-part state. All MDC parties in sundry were destroyed irretrievably. All other parties are ZANU lights. They use courts, laws, and money, but strategic ambiguity was too much to handle. His name is Chamisa. Shout out to Nelson Chamisa. He's also trending. Then we look at Citizen Coalition for Change. So the Triple C, Susan said, Triple C is strong. There are no fights within the party for those that are lying. I will support Nelson Chamisa and we arrive to our destination. Agreed. I'm in also support for Nelson Chamisa. The second article is what I'm going to run tonight, which was written by the News Hawks regarding the Father Fidelis Mukonori. Very interesting right there. Very interesting. Okay, so we're going back to our stories for tonight. But what I wanted you to do, guys, to take a listen to what Fidelis said. Because when you listen to what he's submitting in terms of the future of Zimbabwe between Edie and Chamisa, then you know that I'm still looking for a pastor yet. I haven't identified a pastor. I know there are pastors in Zimbabwe, but as far as these ones that are mouthful, I haven't identified real men and women of God in Zimbabwe. All of them are just beating around the bush. We have a majority of people who are benefiting from the state. So whenever they are face to face with the challenge, they're caught in the middle of what they're getting from the state and truth. So whom are you going to serve? The state or God? That's a challenge that so we're gonna go in quickly and take a listen to what Father Mukonori had to say when he was having a chat with Trevor Ngube. Very, very interesting submissions there. Please take a listen.
Human beings is that human beings we can sit.
My bad. All right, so we're going to try to play Father Mukonori right now because I want you guys to take a listen to what he had to say. Very important submissions there that can help us moving along. We need to also understand what's really going down right now in Zimbabwe. Very interesting. I apologize on that because I'm trying to connect to the Bluetooth so that you guys can hear properly. My apologies. Please bear with me.
The difference between animal beings and human beings is that human beings, we can sit and we can discuss. That lack of sitting and discussing is what is the cause and causality of where we are today.
Why can't we sit down and discuss?
Well, our president is a lawyer. CCC president is a lawyer. It would be interesting to see lawyers having the common sense, common sense, if they can say, let us discuss, let's sit down and discuss. That's what common sense is.
Hi, I'm ready.
But we go
Waiting
to
for a
universities
connection.
to look for common sense. Common sense is not so common, including among the lawyers. Because, Father,
Bluetooth connected.
Where we are right now, people are hurting. People are hurting. The sanctions are hurting people. The oppression from the government is hurting the people. People don't have jobs. People are poor. The Bible says, take care of the orphans, take care of the widows, take care of the poor. The widows, the orphans, and the poor are suffering. One would have thought that that is enough to cause the two liars that we're talking about here to say, the election has not resolved the problem. Let's sit and discuss.
yes.
Help me understand why this is not happening.
Well, that is what the issue is, to say they elected the president and could humbly say, let us sit down and discuss.
The elected president. The elected president.
And the one who says, no, I am not satisfied, I believe the elections were not free and they were not fair, should have also the courage. It takes courage for someone to say, let us sit down and discuss. It takes courage.
It takes wisdom.
Right.
Thank you.
Wisdom.
Right.
And humility.
It takes wisdom to what?
And Bo, it takes
Courage is wisdom.
wisdom, yes. No, you don't have to withdraw. So it takes courage and wisdom
Yes.
to say, let's sit down and talk.
Yeah.
So a man will say,
That scares me a lot. I'm scared, I'm terrified because we are talking about a pastor and a father who have been known in the church, a father for decades, who do not understand that you must have the wisdom of God to be able to resolve issues amicably and respectfully, like the way that King Solomon did when two wives were fighting for a baby. Take a listen.
Father, after an election like this, I won, but let's sit down and talk. A man after an election like this who loses and picks up the phone and say, yes, things didn't go all right, let's sit down and talk.
They can't talk because nobody won the election. There was never an election. So let's start right there. There was never an election. So how do you now say the person that won, who won the election? There was never an election. This election was grabbed. There's a difference. Won an election. Did we ever had an election in Zimbabwe? It was all a joke. I mean, this is shocking. Like literally shocking.
Courage. That is wisdom. We're not seeing any of those two things here.
So that is what I think we have to agree, that it is essential, the two, to sit down and discuss. Discussion is more difficult than toy-toying on the streets.
Which will get people killed.
Yeah, and it will get people killed. And discussions are more difficult because it requires thinking. And the thinking is an exercise which has no textbook. And the thinking requires someone who has to know how to think.
Can I add something else? Sitting down to negotiate requires humility.
Thank you.
And selflessness, isn't it?
Yes.
Not sitting down to negotiate. Accepting defeat takes humility. So before we talk about trying to put Nelson Chamisa into the discussion, accepting defeat takes humility. Right. Let's start right there. Then we can have a conversation.
We're not seeing much of it around there, Father.
Yes, I think that is part of the issue, and that we need that humility. Well, I was making a proviso to say, when you have people who, it's only a lawyer who is called an educated person, as if
My learned friend.
a learned friend, as if no one else is learned. But there has to be a display to say, indeed, we are learned, and therefore let us sit down and discuss. And therefore, it seems to me it is essential, and we would like to appeal, and I believe it is necessary. It's not too late to request the two sides, the winner and the loser, to say, please, can you sit down and discuss?
Okay, first of all, there was never an election in Zimbabwe. Okay, let's assume the first that happened was called an election. Again, it was grabbed. Mr. Mnangagwa never won it. So let's start right there before we even try to discuss, let's bring the loss and the winner. Was there ever a winner there? No. It's very disappointing, to be honest. I'm extremely disappointed because for me, I expect the church, especially the church, to be wiser than the devil. But the way it looks right now, we are sitting with foolish people. Like, it's so disappointing, especially people that we look up to like fathers. You know, these people should shape our community and our society, you know, by standing for truth. I'm so disappointed, and that this very sermon is being called a father. And when I say father, I mean from a Catholic point of view. And then I'm not surprised why we are in this jungle. I'm not surprised why we are in this mess, because a father of a church who lacks wisdom to actually saying, Mr. Mnangagwa, point number one, you've been in this space for decades. Let's start right there. You have served, and we appreciate your service. Let's start right there. We appreciate you, right? And respect the will of the people. Every time the elections are being disputed, look, we do not need SADC, neither do we need AU or any external forces. We don't need to outsource knowledge and wisdom. But are you guys surprised why we are outsourcing knowledge and wisdom? Are you surprised that now we have good Mumba, Dr. Mumba and Hichilema, whom we are actually like just focusing on right now? I'm extremely disappointed that Zimbabwe lacks men and women of wisdom. Disappointing. I'm seeing a lot of pastors who call themselves prophets all over the place, all over the state house, running upside and up and down and taking pictures, but they cannot stand for what's right. And someone may argue and say, but you know what, they'll put their life in danger. I refuse. Listen, there have been people before us who were face to face with the very same challenges like what we have in Zimbabwe, but they were able to resolve issues. It takes wisdom. It's the right words. How are you addressing the issue? How are you confronting the matter? It's very important. Why do we have to call Nelson Chamisa to order? Why can't we talk about the flood of an election that we just came out of? Can we start by addressing Zach first? Can we start talk about the prisoners, the political prisoners? Can we talk about those that have been abducted, killed for absolutely nothing? Because we start right there. Why is it? It's always about other people who need to bend their rules. It's always the opposition that need to bend their rules. Every time ZANU-PF have to get away with it. Every time. You know, listen, I've got my brother's son. Yo, listen, I've got my brother's son who's 3 years old. This boy, he was wrong, but he was fighting with his mom. Like, he's kind of person that says, I need to win the war. This man, this young boy knows that he's wrong, but he's fighting. I'm like, no way. That boy must be disciplined now, because I know my brother was exactly like that. When we were growing up, he was not losing a battle. So with me, we're always head on, you know? We're always head on. You know, we need to get to a point where we look squarely in ZANU-PF's eyes and said, guys, you do not have monopoly for this country. You have no title deeds to Zimbabwe. Let that be known. You are as like any other person. Humble yourself. Get off your high horse. The church and the leaders are failing us. Where are the elders of our society? This is why I'm very disappointed, because the last time I checked, when we were having challenges, the elders were always standing up. In our families, we know, yeah, if you fail in your marriages, you're going to see those elders coming after you. And when you see them coming after you, they mean business. You understand? They mean business. Okay, so I'm a daughter of a chief, so yeah. So I know. When you see the chiefs and the people coming, you know, we're in trouble, yeah. We're in trouble. They're not going to take no nonsense at all. They come with authority. You know what I mean? We need to get to a point where no president of the country should have the upper hand to disregard our elders, our laws, the civilians. But this is what we have done. We're giving people too much powers they don't deserve. And that's why we're having a problem. Why do Chamisa have to concede? Why not ZANU-PF conceding? The fact that they've lost so many elections and getting away with it. Remember, in 2008, what happened? MDC had to concede. Why can ZANU-PF concede this time? Why can't they concede? Why do Muchangwa have to talk to people like talking to children and get away with it? That is where the problem is. We keep on giving people the chance that they don't deserve. No wonder why we are not moving forward. Father, this is not a joke. We mean business. Now, Herod reported that conceded defeat or seek death. I don't know whom are they say conceded defeat. Whom are you talking to? Conceded defeat to who? Whom did you defeat? Right. It's Herod. Absolutely crazy. Telling Chamisa that, oh, you must seek dialogue. If you guys won an election, why would Chamisa seek dialogue? Why does he have to seek dialogue if you won elections? Like you claim. Why do we have to come back to him and say, oh, you must seek dialogue? Is that how winners behave? Is that how winners behave? You lost an election. As a matter of fact, you even 30% chance you didn't even get this past election. But you want Chamisa to concede. No way, we're not conceding. Us is winning or nothing. It's not negotiable. It's winning or nothing. We are not, no way, we don't concede. This one, we have to walk out with victory. We refuse to be manipulated. We refuse to be abused. It's winning or nothing. So as a Zimbabwean Catholic priest, Father Fidelis Mukonori, called for a main opposition leader, Triple C leader Nelson Chamisa, to accept defeat in the recent brazenly stolen elections and seek talks with President EMERSON MNANGAGWA. So this is the news works. Has been given short shrift, swiftly rejected. Mukonori, the midwife to Mnangagwa's ascendancy through the November 2017 coup. Now, first of all, you are the one who literally ascended Edie in 2017. That was actually an illegal act. The coup was an illegal act, because if the army was taking the power, the army should have temporarily lead the country while we're looking for a legitimate leader. That's what happens with all the coups all over the world. Only in Zimbabwe, where the coup happened and then you place someone as a leader. How can that be? How can that be? It's like me, I'm sitting here, maybe I'm just having some fling with an army general guy. Yeah, no, just saying. I'm just saying maybe I'm having my thing, and then I'm like, listen, you're gonna go in there and make sure that you take the power and you give it to me. That's what happened. That's what happened. And then all of a sudden, I'm ascending to the throne. I'm telling you guys, I'm the president of the country. That's what happened. It was an illegal act. So he's the same person who mediated during the time of Mugabe and Idi, that father. And he's back. Now he's now advising Nelson Chamisa to concede. Nope. Brother, you are not neutral. If you are coming in as a leader, start with your people that you have supported before and say, guys, we are in trouble. We are wrong. We need to let go. That's where you need to start. So he has urged Chamisa to concede defeat and engage in a rival as the winner. The one who says, I'm not satisfied and I believe the elections were not free, fair, should also have the courage. It takes courage. Why would he has the courage? The elections were not free and fair. What courage does he need? For someone to say, let us sit down and discuss. It takes wisdom, courage and wisdom. Mukonori said it is essential the two to sit down and discuss. Discussions are more difficult than toying on the streets, and it will get people killed. So first of all, we need to remember that where ZANU-PF is operating from now is from the kingdom of darkness. Let's start right there. So bringing ED and Chamisa to say they must talk, there's nothing to talk about. What we could do is to assassinate every system that ZANU-PF built. They must be extinguished forever. Let's start there. We might as well not even have a president for some time. But while we are doing away with every evil system that has ruined the peace of our people, that's where we need to start. Before we even talk about Chamisa must come in, no, Chamisa is not conceding nothing, absolutely nothing. That's just, it's a mere talk. I even encourage him to concede. Chamisa, you must never concede. Mr. President, never concede. Their discussions are more difficult because they require thinking, and it's the exercise which is to not textbook thinking. Requires someone who has to know how to think. Huh? Do you really need to think to have a free and fair election? Especially when ZEC has received such a lot of money from European Union. What thinking do we need? In numbers, I'm very good in maths. In numbers, I know many Zimbabweans are very good in maths. Calculating numbers. Do you need to think to calculate a number? Why is it always the elections in Zimbabwe all the time? I mean, we spoke about this many times. You know, so you're calling for that Chamisa must concede. He is not conceding. Let's start right there. We have leaders, members like Job Scala, who have been incarcerated for over 4 years, over a year, on the back of flimsy political charges. Thus, a starting point of Father Mukonori call should have been directed to the Mnangagwa and to respect and uphold the Constitution and immediately release all political prisoners. That's what I was expecting too, since he won elections. Let's assume he won elections like he claims he did. The point of departure for me was to now releasing all political prisoners. Then we know that now we're talking, Mr. Mnangagwa mean business, is there to lead. But as far as we are where we are now, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying nothing. I'm not buying it. So the liberation theory demands that we use the perspective of the poor and oppressed to see and explain political and civil problems. In this case, it is the ordinary Zimbabwean who have been robbed by a few individuals who have captured the state and its institutions for private gain. Victims can therefore not be taken to accept defeat and seek dialogue. If anything, victims must be afforded justice, and in this case, that can only be achieved through a fresh election in which the will of the people is freely expressed. Siziva said, while calls for the talks are noble and the CCC fully subscribe to them, the church must make such important pronouncements standing on the pedestal of morally sound proportions and not only shaky pillars of flawed and disputed elections. The church, do you know when I look at Mukonori, I actually want to cry. I feel heartbroken. I'm looking at this man who is called a father in the Catholic Church, who don't know the difference between right and wrong. Maybe that makes us question a lot of people who are called prophets and pastors. They really are not. I mean, I don't care what you people say. They are not. They lack integrity. You know, they are people of dishonesty. As long as they benefit, everyone don't matter. But the last time I checked, the church should stand on the pillar and say, hey, no, we stand by the people. You know, I've always said to say, Mr. Mnangagwa and ZANU-PF is strong as the people surround them. Because the only reason why mediocrity carry on is because people are supported. We need to understand that I've got my dad whom I love dearly. I would die for my father. I'll take the bullet anytime, any minute. Yes. If I would choose, I'll go to heaven first. I'll leave him here. I can go to heaven on his behalf. You know, but when he's wrong, I'll tell him you're wrong. And I'll tell him I love you, Dad. I can actually kiss you and tell you how much I love you. I can give you a hug, Dad. I can kiss you, but I still want to tell you you're wrong. You know, you're wrong. And I swear, even the man that I'm going to marry, I'll marry him and love him dearly. But if you cross the line, I'm going to tell you, baby, you're wrong. Baby, you're wrong. You cross, I may not tell you in front of people, but when we get home, I'm going to tell you, baby, there you were wrong. You know why? Because I understand the dangers of those actions. Is if you keep on protecting wrong, in other words, is what you're doing. Anything that you protect grows. Anything that you support, you know, expand. It is what it is. Mukonori was there supporting a flood, an illegal entrance for Mr. Mnangagwa in 2017. He's the same Mukonori that is here today trying to persuade Chamisa to concede to a flawed process. It says a lot about his spirituality and his integrity as a man. I'm not surprised why I did not know the difference between courage and wisdom. Because the Bible speaks about wisdom, which is profitable to direct. That when you're a wise person, you have to have an external, you know, an external sense that is divine to be able to judge between two scenarios and come up with a justice verdict. When you look at the two women, the time that one took the child, killed their daughter, their son or child, those two women came with one child to Solomon. Solomon, a man of wisdom, he was full of wisdom, even though he messed up. You know, after he dead David, he messed up with women. Solomon lost it with women. You know, when but he was a wise man. He was able to say, I know who the father said, who wants me to cut the child in half? The other woman said, cut the child in half. And the mama said, don't cut. You rather give her the child, because if you give her the child will always going to come to the mom. We can do DNA test later on. Right? We'll do DNA test later on. In this scenario right now, the person who's claiming to say, let's talk, it is not the winner. That's wisdom. You can see, why do you want to talk? Considering that you already ascended on the throne. You are sitting there on the throne. You are preaching your legitimacy. You are calling yourself the president. As we speak, you are being called the president of Zimbabwe. Why all of a sudden you are coming to the underdog and said, come, let's concede. Let's talk. Wisdom is profitable to direct. You are a loser. You are the loser. Loser. You are the loser. A loser. We are too smarter than the devil. So I'm just telling you that just by his entrance and what he's saying, what do you know who is the loser? I mean, surely I've won an election. I'm proud of my wins. I know people loves me. I don't even need to worry about who doesn't love me. I can carry on with my work and serve the people. But because you know, you know what? That's what I love about truth. It's going to haunt you to death. You can't sleep. We know. This is the thing. Sometimes we get carried away, you know, with people's positions, and we forget that this life is real. That if you fake your way to something, I mean, it shows by your actions. You have no peace, you know. There's no peace in the enemy's camp. Cheers. You can see there's no peace in the enemy's camp. Yo, your prayers are working, yo. God is on your side. Keep pressing on. Prayers up. There's no peace in the enemy's camp. It's 1 minute. They were fighting Hichilema. They were fighting, the Dr. Mumba. They went to European Union and they called themselves "We are winners." Did you see a small little thing that happened in Europe? That war. They marched in Europe saying Mr. Mnangagwa is the leader. He won the election in Europe. When did you ever see countries marching in another country claiming that someone has won elections? There's no peace in the enemy's camp. Prayers up. Prayers up. You must not give up. Prayers up. Something must happen. Evil has to give. Notwithstanding who says what and who says what. Evil has to give. No peace in the camp of the wicked. Keep prayers up. Now, here we are. First of all, before elections, as allegations that someone was sent requesting that Chamisa had to suspend elections. Now, after these elections, here we are again. They go all over the place telling themselves we have won, trying to invite SADC. Only 3 people came out of 15 people. Red flags are all over the place. Red flag, red flag. They can feel it that, you know what, the connection with the people is gone. Zimbabwe was like a funeral. People said the whole place was like a funeral after the declaration of the incumbent. That people were like, no, 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 no. And I've spoken to many people who told me that they were furious. There's one voice note that I'm going to play for you one day of someone that very, very close to me. She spoke to me with a voice of pain. And I remember telling my other sister, I'm like, damn, I want to cry. I want to cry because the person was so in pain. I can feel the pain in the voice. The way they robbed us of our destiny. God does not slumber. He doesn't sleep. He has no respect of persons. Notwithstanding your title. When God arrives, when he fights for his people, he's a vindicator. When he vindicates his people, he does not care how many houses you own. He doesn't care how much money is in your bank account. He doesn't care your position. He doesn't care how many clothes you're wearing, how many cars. He does not care how much you're jumping up and down and call yourself a leader. When he visits people, he specializes in vindicating for the weak. That's how he does. And I can tell you, there's no peace in the camp of the wicked. The plug is burning. The plug is burning. You can hear when these fathers are coming on television, they are trying so hard to speak so that maybe they can buy the emotions or buy the sympathy of Zimbabweans. We're not buying nothing now. We do not want this regime. We have had enough. People are being arrested as we speak. I don't know how many Triple C mayor, I saw him being put, and that broke my heart. This man is someone's daddy, is someone's wife. Sorry, his husband, yo. Yo, you put my husband there. You pull my husband. You pull my husband. You pull my husband. You pull my husband, you've pulled me, sir, ma'am, because I'm going to come after you. That's exactly what I saw. Pulling someone's father like that, calling him names, and you call yourself you've won an election? That's a shame. It is a shame. Especially for fathers who expect them to lead our people. It's a shame. But then Gift Osalis, Gift Osalis is the spokesperson, deputy. Now you responded to me, some Mukonori. He said, my view, but he was talking to Trevor. He said, my view, Mukoma, is that Father Mukonori should apply liberation theology in his interpretation of an approach of resolving the Zimbabwean crisis. Liberation theology demands that we use the perspective of the poor and oppressed to see and explain political and civil problems. In this case, it is the ordinary Zimbabwean. I guess that's what I read a few minutes ago. We have been robbed by a few individuals who have captured the state and its institutions for private gain. Victims can therefore not be asked to accept defeat and seek dialogue. If anything, victims must be afforded justice, and in this case, that can only be achieved through a fresh election in which the will of the people is freely expressed. And I agree. And bear in mind, the offer for European Union is still stand. They said we have pulled temporarily, considering that you guys can reform, and then we can still inject funds for you guys to run a free and fair election. What more does Zimbabwe want? What more do you want the leadership there? People are saying, it's okay, your elections were flawed. We are happy to sponsor your election should you reform. So what is your problem? And trust me, we don't mind to pay again to come in and vote. We have no problem, because as long as there's a free, fair, and credible election, we're going to have to get on our planes and our buses and to come in to register to vote. We can come in. We're not going to stop. But so we are taking the offer. We are not letting this offer go. We are taking the offer. So one of my brother also tweeted, he said, Africa has a problem with these priests and fake pastors. Because I'm gonna get into another fake pastor just now, Facho in Java, a fake pastor as well. One would expect that these men of cloth are principled, and yet it's all about expedience and comforts. They do not represent what is right, but what is convenient. Can't trust them. Mukonori sold out President Mugabe with Joe Charamba, and he refused to talk to him until death. Politicians are non-liars. It's not good when you're doing it wearing a collar. He was not even directing the funeral. He is a liar. Father Mukonori was supposed to be neutral negotiator during the coup talks between Mugabe and the coup leaders. Mugabe later discovered that both Mukonori and George Charamba were working with the coup leaders. Mugabe then refused to have Mukonori as negotiator and instead called in his trusted guy, Gideon Gono, who was now shuttling between Blue Roof and KG6, where the coup leaders were best. It is Gono who become a successful negotiator, not Mukonori. Mugabe died bitter with Mukonori for his betrayal. I'm sorry, after what he said today, I didn't know him much actually. To dig a bit, to get some information about him, I did not know him. As a matter of fact, I told you I only started following elections for Zimbabwe last year, so I didn't have a clue of what's going on in Zimbabwe. But I had to go into search who this man is. I don't trust him either. He lacks integrity, he lacks wisdom, he lacks knowledge. He is just nothing but after the money. You can see them with their baby, you can see them with the way they look. It's all about them and only them. The country is suffering. But I guess they've got this mentality of saying, as long as I can be seen doing things, all is well, the rest of the people don't matter. So maybe that was one of the reasons why he's in this position. But very embarrassing. It is a shame, Mr. Mukonori. Yo, just welcome everybody. I can see that many people are here. Please don't forget to make sure that you like the live and also drop your location, because today I'm going to send you some shout out. Today I'm here, I'm put so much love to share. So please drop your location. I'm happy to send you some shout out. Now, trust me, I told you that if you try Chamisa, you try me. Trust me, guys. Pastor Jaffa tried it. Yeah, he tried it. Oh my God, just bear with me, please. He tried it. He tried it. Pastor Jaffa is under the thing for the cop. Literally, he tried me today. He said, "I saw the death of Nelson Chamisa." Huh? I saw the death of Nelson Chamisa, and God said, what? And God said the people of Zimbabwe must pray for him while I was meditating in my house. Praying for the nations of the world. Yeah, I don't want to swear, but I don't want to swear. I don't want to swear, but I was very close. Very close. I was going to be like, Jesus, you brood of vipers. I don't want to swear, but let me tell you, I can get very angry, like in the spirit. If I'm angry in the spirit, yes, holy anger, yes, I can. If you touch the people that I respect and love, you can wake up the lioness in me. Mr. Java, you will go before Nelson Chamisa. So I put it on record. He will not. I will reverse the death. I will speak to God and reverse the death. I've got the power to do so. I will speak to God. God knows we can have a conversation. I'm going to say, no way, no. Not now, devil. Not now. So you just let your ways just fall in the wrong ears. I refuse that. And by the way, you will go before him. When you get to heaven, if you happen to go there, when you get to whatever, what is going to happen up there, just know that I reversed. Whatever you are talking about, you're talking absolutely nonsense. You can see how desperate the regime is. The regime is desperate. It's sending the fake prophets. It's sending these fake fathers. It's going to European Union and say, we want elections. Is hiring a few, some nonsensical people to move around with a banner. Is moving around with Mr. Mnangagwa's portrait to Europe. European Union to put it on the wall. It's something is not right, man. Something is not right. Because you're not connecting with the people. We, as a people, we reject this regime. This regime has caused us pain. I wish you can understand that we are your children who are simply say, let's do away with evil. Let's do away with evil. This could have been the point of departure for Mukonori as a man and a father in the spiritual kingdom. He was supposed to say, Mr. President, we have to make sure we do away with evil. Because God and evil, they can't rhyme. God and evil, no. It's only the devil and evil. So I don't understand what he's really talking about. Pastor Java, you tried me. You tried me. You really tried me. You tried me. I see stand up. All right, sad news really. Today I'm looking at Zoleka Mandela. Very sad news. The granddaughter of South Africa's anti-apartheid luminary and the country's first democratically elected president, Nelson Mandela, the late, has died of cancer. She was 43. Zoleka died last evening, surrounded by family and friends. Zoleka passed away on the evening of the 25th September, surrounded by friends and family. Our dearest gratitude to the medical team that took care of her. Family spokesperson Zweladi Mandela said in a statement, her mother was the second daughter of South Africa's struggle towards Mandela and Winnie Madikizela Mandela. Tributes are pouring for Zoleka. Zoleka, I've seen her. I think I've covered one of his stories some time ago. Let me just tell you. I'll give a bit of a background. She once been having challenges with drug addiction and also alcohol addiction. A lot happened, but one thing that I want to say is that to all parents out there, if you're a father or a mother, please, I'm asking you, look after your children. The enemy is roaring like a lion. One thing that I've seen about young people are being literally swamped with drug addiction. Friends, check their friends, because the only reason why our kids are sometimes get swamped with addiction is because of influence. So check their friends. Whom are they playing with? Who are they spending their time with? Very important. Please, and I'm asking, I'm begging you, when the day your child take a drug is selling their soul to the devil. I hope for those that didn't know that the goal really, because there was a time we did a documentary with some buddies of mine some years back, and we literally had to talk to most of the guys, I can't mention nationality, who are actually drug pushers. And they disclosed that the drug addiction really is a cult. For those who didn't know, it is a cult. And the purpose of the cult, is to steal, to kill, and to destroy. So there are covenants that are set really that are behind a drug addiction. It's not just taking a sniff or cocaine or heroin or, it's not that. It's bigger than what you think. There are forces that are controlling it. So sometimes you end up hearing all these cancer, all type of diseases, because that's the goal of the enemy, to steal, to destinies, kill and destroy. Very sad indeed, but she's in heaven. Hope she's resting in eternal peace. But all I'm saying is, please look after your children, look after your family members. And I know in Zimbabwe, not because of pressure. This is why you see I'm very desperate and really passionate about the youngsters, because we need to find ways to bring balance in their lives and say, guys, we need to help you. Stop drugs. Please, please, please. I know life is tough. This is where we are all pushing for change. We are all pushing for sanity, because we can't afford to carry on with the toxicity that is just taken over our society and our young people. We need to restore our legacy of dignity and love, unity and prosperity. So really, I'm praying for Mandela's family. May their soul rest in peace. And here we are again with Mr. Chiwenga, trapped under the jaws of the crocodile. And I tell you, news walks are crazy. They are crazy. They've been real. And somebody said on Twitter that, hey, you're trying so hard to stir a bit of anger in people's hearts. I'm like, they were talking, no, that wasn't me, that was someone else, because of these articles that are being dropped by the news walks. Pretty much incredible, guys. The news walks, you can also follow them, Twitter, YouTube, wherever they are. I love to support my people. I used quite a number of sources, which are incredible, guys. guys who are working tirelessly. Make sure that we have got the content that we need. And I just want to send them some shout out and say thank you very much for your time and all your hard work. It means a lot and I appreciate you deeply. But, you know, within 6 months, the once all-powerful Vice President Constantino Chiwenga, the mover and shake of the military coup that ousted former President Robert Mugabe and a major influencer of the Second Republic's first cabinet, is now a pale shadow of his former self, as he has been left institutionally weak and politically vulnerable, while serving at the pleasure of the President EMERSON MNANGAGWA. So once being powerful, he was powerful. Let me just tell you, and I agree with this brother Chiwenga, the so-called pastor. Pastor, if he's a pastor. I really care about titles. I'm a person who believes that you can still fulfill purpose without no title. As long as you've got a calling, go for it and go ahead and serve. So, guys, I think Chiwenga was so good. Remember, guys, when he was wearing the ballot, you know, the army ballot and the army, the camouflage. No, you knew what we had the general. You know what I mean? The general. Like, by the way, I don't have a problem with him being a vice president, but the man was okay while he was a general. He was good there. Yo, trust me, sometimes it's not about the title. It's about fulfillment, peace. I've always said to people, do what you love the most. There's a difference between a job and work. So a job is you get hired to do it, but work is you're pursuing your calling. What is it that you love to do? What is that you're called to do? Pursue that. That's where your fulfillment lies. There are so many people who went to school. I did bookkeeping as well. I'm an auditor, but listen now, not in my lifetime. I can't sit behind the desk. Yeah, I'm unemployable. I always say to people, I can't. I get sick. Yeah, I cannot. I want to go outside. So as much as I love numbers, I want to go outside. You understand? I want to go and meet people. I love to talk to people. So I knew as much as I pursued this, because, you know, everybody said, no, you must do this, you must do pay an account, there's money. Of course, accountants, they get paid good monies. But I can't sit 8 to 5. Never. I cannot. I'm a talented person, so I want to be all over the place. I want to do things that I truly love. So for that reason, I'm saying to Mr. Constantino Chiwenga, the Vice President, sir, you were fine in the army. You were fine in the army. You were fine in the army with your camouflage. Guess we had, listen, what happened to the army, man? What happened to the army? The army is Zimbabwe that we knew. When we say army, we talk about the army. What happened to the army? They have been rendered absolutely. You were fine, sir. You were doing great. But Chiwenga, then the commander of the defense forces, put his head on the block for Mnangagwa for toppling Mugabe in 2017 before inviting Mnangagwa to lead the government, on the understanding that he would pass the baton to him in 2023. Did it happen? Mnangagwa appeared down and out after being dismissed from both the government that was then by ZANU-PF and all that happened, the drama that happened. But you know, Chiwenga himself almost died of suspected poisoning, while Mnangagwa narrowly escaped a bomb attack at the White City Stadium in June 2018 as the unresolved leadership question raged on. But after the 11th September cabinet appointment, following the controversial victory in the 23rd August elections, Mnangagwa showed all and sundry that he was firmly in charge. He appointed his son, close relatives and acquaintances in government as he flexed his muscle. Chiwenga was removed as health minister and now just remains as an appointed vice president, unelected. and vulnerable, largely ceremonial. Mnangagwa amended the constitution last year to ensure the clause on running mates is not implemented, to ensure Chiwenga does not become an elected vice president with power and in the process a shoe-in successor. He is now an appointed VP within the ruling party, ZANU-PF, and in the government as well. Chiwenga, who looked uneasy during Mnangagwa's cabinet announcement, was further weakened after Mnangagwa damned the military in his disputed re-election, but relying on a new the CIO ran a Securocratic outfit Forever Associates Zimbabwe. He emerged as the biggest loser in the elections. I didn't know that Zimbabwe lacks power like that. Yeah, I didn't know. Like I'm flabbergasted. Every time I'm sitting, I'm thinking, I did not know people were crazy about literally just a position. Simply a position, like being a leader. People are obsessed that they can't let go of something. Like they feel like if I leave this, I can't be a human. No, you can. As a matter of fact, you're bigger than just a title. You can have a title, but still lose respect. It's possible. Moving around and call yourself a manager does not mean that you're successful in your management. It's simply a title. What's important is the influence. What's important is the impact. But when that is misunderstood, then it's possible. Abuse is inevitable. It's sad. It is really sad. It's very sad. Yeah. Very sad. Finally, I can see Mohadi, Chiwenga, and ED. Together, all of them, they're over 200 years. Together, when you calculate their years, they're more than 200. We want free, fair, credible election. Free, fair, and credible election is what we need. And thank God, European Union is too in to make sure that they fund the elections. All we need to do is to put our ducks in the row, then we're good to go. And then we can actually have the leaders that we want. All these pursuit that they're doing left, right, and center, we know it's desperation. They actually know what's coming. SADC is strong, y'all. That's when you know that SADC is strong. And ZANU-PF knows that if SADC comes through, they're in for a failure. And they know, and it's but that's life. It is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. All right, guys. So please drop your location. I'm down here. I'm done. And I want to send you some sort. By the way, I haven't really greeted people, but people was that I was just away for some time. I wasn't really doing videos this past weekend. And I'll tell you why I was busy, but God is so good. So guys, you should just send me your location and I'll say shout out. By the way, I don't know who is, there are people that I actually remember by name. Let me just tell you, I know a person by the name Maureen. When I say shout out, if you're here, shout out to you. I know Jay Den as well. If you're here, I want to say shout out. I know my Tanya, someone who actually yes, yeah. I told you Jade is gonna be here. Shout out to you, man. Shout out. It's good to see you. And I was in Liverpool. I know, guys, drop your location, your names and your location, because I can remember. Trust me, guys, I love you deeply. All of you, you are important. Your comments means a lot. Inspiring. You guys are doing incredible. I'm actually learning from you. I'm telling you, I'm learning a lot from you. So guys, know that you are really, really special. I appreciate you so much. I do appreciate you. So, and also, I'm just to remember quite a number of people. There's also someone by the name Tinashe as well. There is Kudakwashi as well. There is oh God, Yuda. There's also Tendai. There's you can see I've got such a great memory. You know, you guys means a lot. It really, spending time with you, it is definitely a blessing. And just have a community that is so loving, that is supportive. Hi, yes, Yuda, there she is. Yes, you. And she's in South Africa. Shout out to Yuda. I hope you're doing incredibly well. Nelson, yes, Nelson. Hey, Nelson, how are you doing? Okay, Nelson, we're talking about Nelson Chamisa, Nelson Mandela. We spoke about Nelson today. Nelson, shout out to you, man. Good to see you. Yeah, so I'm so excited, really, guys, that you guys always spend time with me, and it's really an honor. And so it's almost like in my end, it's almost like 10 minutes to 10. That's my end here in Johannesburg. So for those that are on the other side, guys, I want to tell you that I appreciate you and thank you very much for the time. And I want you guys to sleep tight if you're in my end. If you're on the other side, I want to say to you, have a great day. Further, I respect you so much. Thank you, guys, and bless you and bless God and bless everybody. Please show your families some love. Tell them you love them. It's very important. You may not talk to them tomorrow. Make sure you send that message. It's so important. We are all a blessing to one another. Trust me. God bless you all and God bless Zimbabwe. I love you big time. See you tomorrow. Bless you.